Hello, everyone. I'm Senem Bilir. I am an assistant professor in Construction Management Division of Civil Engineering Department at Istanbul Technical University. Today, I will present you a study about normative regulations used for adaptive facades. I would like to start with the introduction. Facades can be seen as interfaces between the outer environment and the building inner environment. As an overall aim, facades have to withstand several types of exterior, interior, and intrinsic loads such as noise, rain, wind, heat and cold, air humidity, self-weight, and structural loads. In order to standardize and compare certain systems and values, the introduction of regulation has become inevitable. Printing regulations for facade systems support the achievement of the desired energy efficiency and sustainability of the building, while enhancing the best possible indoor climate for users. So far, there aren't any regulations yet which refer specifically and only to adaptive facades. However, many of their characteristics can be compared to those of traditional facade elements. The aim of this study to present a better understanding of the potential normative regulations which can be used for adaptive facades. Facades must face numerous challenges as they resemble the interface between the outer climate and environment and the inside of the building. The exterior and interior influences hit the outer or the inner surface of the facade element and affect the adjacent and possibly further layers. Thus, different layers must fulfill individual functions, which satisfy the individual needs and purposes of the users. In order to do so, the market provides a wide range of facade technologies. They may differ in regard to the structure, physical properties, assembly, cost, sustainability, fatigue life, appearance, and so on. Within the scale of this study, the term facade not only refers to the outmost envelope layer, but the entire exterior wall construction. One of the main branches is innovative and full of potential, adaptive facade technology. Now, with the invention of adaptive facades, active measures can be realized by facade systems too. Due to individual circumstances and needs, like the building use, location, etc., the extent of facade function needs to be adjusted, adapting to environmental conditions and equipment demands on an hourly, daily, or annual basis can only be achieved by active adaptive systems. Its diverse possibilities and potential for the future is undisputable and therefore highly researched in science and becoming more and more common in practice. In order to achieve the desired energy efficiency and sustainability of the building, regulation should be designed. There are neither officially approved definitions nor preset values which define if a facade is formally adaptive or not. Notwithstanding the persistence of the named regulations for traditional facade systems, as well as the applicability needs to be examined for adaptive facade systems. Since the amount of the regulation seems endless, in this study, a brief overview of the main regulations and organizations will be given. The international and German regulations might differ in the quantities of materials for the detection methods or examination procedures, as well as their entire build-up itself. In figure 2, you can see the most important regulations with respect to their geographical validity. Now we can talk about the international regulations. Some regulations are known as worldwide standards, such as American Architectural Manufacturers Association and American Society for Testing and Materials. The fundamental test criteria in these regulations are air permeability and resistant to wind load and water tightness. At European level, we can see the Center for Window and Cladding Technology, or Senior European Committee for Standardization. These are the most common regulations in Europe. Both of them focus especially on glazed facades. Moreover, the ISO regulations by the International Organization for Standardization are used internationally. The European Organization for Technical Assessment issued the guideline for European technical approval for kits for external wall claddings, which refers to requirements such as water permeability, fire resistance, etc. On European level, this guideline is a useful tool. I'm very sorry. A useful tool to compare the qualities and requirements of different facade systems. Norms with the European Norm Identification EN are accepted on a European level if they contain the identification of the International Organization of Standardization, I mean ISO. They are valid worldwide. When it comes to the demands on the structural performance, a facade must meet the requests for a sufficient structural safety and certain resilience. Nonetheless, for so far, generally applied regulations and guidelines do not exist yet. The existing regulations for structural criteria are the construction product regulations and the national building standards like EN 1990. Now we can talk about a German regulation. As facades have a determinant impact on the building's efficiency, the German energy saving ordinance INEW 2014 is of vital importance. It contains standards for the annual primary energy requirement, transmission heat losses, minimum air exchange, and air tightness of the building. It is valid for new and major renovations of existing residential and non-residential buildings. The main aim is to save energy in order to ease the energetic and economical optimization of the buildings. Furthermore, Germany's energy policy targets a nearly climate neutral building environment until 2050. The energy performance certificate shown in figure 3. Uh, this is a tool of ENU, which provides information about the energy efficiency of a building. It gives an overview of the energy demand, energy consumption, and potential interventions for the modernization and increase the energy efficiency. Using the energy performance certificate makes it more practical to compare the energy performance of buildings in Germany. Its validity is restricted to 10 years. Also, based on German regulations, facades are categorized into 5 resistance classes due to their building material class. Sorry. Besides ENIF, the German federal government established DIN, the German Institute for Standardization. The majority of the DIN regulations have been adopted as international standards, either on a European level or an international level. I mean, or EN or ISO. DIN EN 830 2005 2015, I'm sorry. Kirchenbolling product standards is a fundamental accepted German and European regulation for radiation properties, water tightness, air permeability, fire resistance, and further properties. It's employed for traditional curtain walling facade systems and can be used to determine the properties of some adaptive facade systems. Exact regulations on the influence of the color choice are not given in DN 4107 I'm sorry, 41078 and 2. Despite the low relevance, the color selection is one of the influencing factors of the thermal impact on the building and should not be ignored in the planning phase. Now we can talk about Turkish regulations. Turkish regulations do not thematize and define boundary conditions for the adaptivity of facade systems so far. The standard TSA 825, which is published in 2008, thermal insulation requirements for building by the Engineering Service Expertise Group of the Turkish Standard Institute focuses on the thermal insulation requirements of buildings. It's not only considers the principles of the international standards, but also adapts to regulating the conditions of Turkey. It aims to reduce the heating energy need by providing calculations rules and using the best thermal insulation solution for the individual case. The concept of adaptivity has not been implemented in TS 825, and thus it is suitable to only a limited extent. The initial idea of normative regulations in the building sector in general is the guarantee of valid quality standards. So far, regulations for adaptive facade elements, material properties, assembly, etc., have not been adopted yet. Apart from this, adaptive facade systems are highly diverse in their structure and functioning, which makes it harder to create common level standards. In conclusion, official regulations specifically for adaptive facades do not exist yet. However, the potential of adaptive facade systems and the necessity to further research about the normative standards are indisputable. Here you can see our references. And many thanks for your time, for listening. Have a nice day.